Okay, so here we're looking at the complement of an event. And so the complement of an event is kind of useful in certain situations. It represents all of the items that are not happening. So how we see it is we have this P of A with the little bar over it, and we read that as A bar. And so that's the notation for a complement. And so it means the probability of event A not occurring. And so how we calculate it is we do 1 minus the probability it will occur. All right, and then we're also going to talk about geometric probabilities in this video, and we will kind of address that when we get there. Let's do complements first. So this says, when two six-sided dice are rolled, there are 36 possible outcomes as shown. Find the probability of each event. Okay, so the probability, they want to know that the sum is not 6. So we want to know the probability that the sum is not 6. And how we can find that is we can do 1 minus the probability that the sum is 6. So when you're finding the sum is not 6, you can just do 1 minus the probability of that it is 6. And the reason this would be handy is because it would be a lot easier to find the combination of the sum being 6 because there's a lot fewer of those. So when I look at that, the sum is 6 only happens, they have all of our dice laid out down here. It only happens here with, let's see here, 1 and 5, 2 and 4, 3, 3, 4, 2, and 5, 1. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So 5 out of 36 are when the sum is 6. So if you do 1 minus 5 out of 36, you get 31 out of 36, which is about 0.861. So you have an 86% chance of having a sum that is not 6. And so the opposite holds true. You'd have about a 14% chance of the sum being 6. Okay, so the sum is less than or equal to 9. So the probability of that is the same as 1 minus the opposite. The opposite of less than or equal to 9 is that the sum is greater than 9. And like I said, the reason we looked at it this way is because there's a lot less of the sums that are greater than 9. So if we looked for those sums that are greater than 9, that would occur right here, this group. These all have sums that are greater than 9. They're 10 and up. And so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. So 6 out of 36 have a sum that is greater than 9. So when you subtract that, you're going to find out that 30 out of 36 have a sum that's less than or equal to 9, which is 5, 6. Or as a decimal, is 0.833. So that means you have an 83% chance of getting 2 die that have a sum that's less than or equal to 9. Okay, so this example is where we're talking about geometric probabilities. So I'm just going to go back and look at this on the front page. Some probabilities are found by calculating a ratio of 2 lengths, 2 areas, or 2 volumes. These are called geometric probabilities. So they're just a probability problem that involves geometry. So I think this is one of the most common ones we see is where you have a dartboard. And so you throw a dart at the board shown. Your dart is equally likely to hit any point inside the square board. All right, so this is the whole board right here is this square. So first of all, we're going to find the total area because when we do probability, we always take it out of the total. And then it's going to ask us, are you more likely to get 10 points or 0 points? All right, this picture is kind of hard to see, but what's happening here is this inner circle is where you get 10 points if you land in here. And this 3 with the arrows is saying the radius of the inner circle is 3. Okay, this kind of donut, the ring right here, is 5 points. So the area of this ring is like what we calculate, and it's not just a circle with a radius of 3. We're going to look at it closer if we come across this in our problem. 2 is this larger donut or larger ring out here. You get 2 points in here. And each of these rings are 3 inches wide. And then 0 points is if you land out here outside of the circle but on the board. Okay, so It says you throw a dart at the board shown. Your dart is equally likely to hit any point inside the square board, or you're more likely to get 10 points or 0 points. Well, first of all, let's just find the probability of landing like the area of the total board. Okay, the total board is a square, and this distance on the board is 18. And how I know that is because right here is 3, here is 3, and here is 3. So that's 9. And then you would have 9 going in the other direction. That'd be 18. And then it's a square, so this is also 18. So the total area of the board is 18 times 18, which is 324. And that'll just be useful to know just with all of these. That's why I went ahead and did it just on kind of on its own. So if you want to find the probability of 10 points, then you need to find the 10-point circle out of the total area. Okay, the 10-point circle is that middle circle, and that middle circle has a radius of 3. Remember, the area of a circle is pi r squared. So pi times 3 squared out of the total was 324. So that's 9 pi divided by 324, which we wouldn't really want to leave it with the pi. We want to go ahead and actually divide it. I get 0.087, or 8.7% chance of getting exactly 10 points. Okay, now getting 0 points. So if you were to get 0 points, that's the little corners of the board. So we would have to find the little corners right here. And so how we would do that is, I'm just going to draw a sketch. I would take the whole area and I would subtract the circle, the largest circle. And what that would leave you with, if you can picture this, take the square and cut out the large circle, and it leaves you with these spaces. All right, so we're going to take the area of the square, which was 324. We're going to take the area of the large circle and subtract it. The large circle, it's the entire thing that we're taking off, the 10-point, the 5-point, and the 2-point. It has a radius of 9. So we're going to take off pi times 9 squared. And that will give me the area of scoring 0 points. So the probability of 0 points is taking 324 minus, we had pi times 9 squared. I'm just going to write it like that, out of the total area of 324. All right, and so basically I'm going to just go ahead. 9 squared is 81. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in my calculator. I'm going to use a fraction button so it doesn't get messed up. 324 minus 81 pi. Use the pi button. Don't use 3.14, okay? Try to be more exact. And I get 0.215, or 21.5%. So which is more likely to happen, getting 10 points or 0 points? Well, definitely 0 points, because it was 21.5%. versus 10 points was about 8.7%.